Yeah, such a good question. If I wish I knew that answer as well, because I suspect, like me, you're kind of wanting to shake people and say, "Hey, this is such a fantastic resource and a fantastic piece of technology. Go and use it." I see this as a way of democratizing coaching because it makes it available to everybody who couldn't necessarily afford to hire your services or my services. But I'm having some of the same troubles. And the biggest success I've had with my clone so far is to integrate it into my coaching program. So I have a group coaching program. I've created an AI version of it. So instead of having live calls with me, every lesson or every module has the coach embedded in with specific questions that they can ask the coach about those lessons. And I found success there. And the second piece of success I've slowly starting to get is the idea, and I guess this works, well, it should work for you as well, is selling a site license to people. So I have a client that I'm doing some training with next week around account management skills. And they are going to make, I'm very excited about this, they're going to make my coach clone available to their 60 staff. So that means that after the training, everyone can carry on having conversations about the training and all get consistent advice. Because we all know that with training, there's a notoriously poor implementation rate. Like someone will learn something, but they go back to their desk, they get busy and nothing happens. So now I'm saying, well, actually, you can carry on having conversations with your coach, your AI coach, and you can dig into the topics we covered in more detail, or you can be reminded of it. But selling it on its own, I haven't been that successful with at selling it at, like $20 a
Well,
month.
I'm impressed you can sell it as an add-on to an existing client and giving them rights to use it on their website. So that sounds exciting. And let me ask you, how do you sell that? Because in my own experience, I've traditionally sold day-long public speaking workshops, media training workshops, and over the years, it's gone from $1,000 a day 25 years ago to now $10,000, $20,000 a day. So I've found I really can focus on this live experience. I can charge more and more. But traditionally, when I have extra stuff, I can't sell it even a penny. I mean, I remember when I first got into online training in 1998, which was way too soon. But even 10 years ago, when people were using online training, clients who would gladly fly me first class, pay a very high daily rate, I'd say, hey, everything we did here can be available to all of your employees all over the world for $1,000 a month license, or $100 a month, $9. It didn't matter. I was not able to sell that as a different service. And I certainly I haven't really tried selling the clone as a separate standalone service. So give us any tips you have
Well, I'll tell you
on
what,
convincing people of the value.
So this is how it worked for me. So I was doing some briefing with this client about the training, and I said at the end of the training, I'm going to get everybody to share their 3 key learnings. I'm going to get everybody to share 3 things they're going to do differently based on the training. And I'm going to get them to answer the question of what will you do to sustain those 2 points. So what will you do to sustain those 3 learnings, and what will you do to sustain the 3 changes that you're going to make? And that led me next to say, look, training is notoriously bad at being implemented when people get back to their desk. But, I've got this coach clone that's trained exactly on the content that I'm going to be delivering. And that means that your team can carry on having conversations about the training with my coach clone, and they can get further advice. They can be reminded of frameworks that I've taught in the training. And I think it just so happened that at the time, the agency owner was really looking into AI for their agency as a whole, and so was very interested in this. So he said, can you demo it? And then that's led to this idea of saying, great, we're going to give everyone access. Now, of course, you're not charging $10,000 a month, as lovely as that would be, for access to that. But, if I'm making $1,000 a month off of it, I'll be happy because it will cover its costs. And the key thing, as I'm sure you're finding, is I'm just going to learn a lot about how people are interacting with the clone and the kind of questions they're asking, and making sure that the answers the clone is given are as close to the answers I would give, and just using it to train the clone even more. So I can't say that this is a trend yet, because this has only happened once. But I feel like selling the coach clone on the back of something else or integrated into something else seems to be an easier sell than selling it on its own.
That's essentially what I'm doing. What I do is I give away access to the clone to anyone who's taken one of my online courses. Right now, I have about 10 million total enrollments in my online courses. So I'm giving it away, because I'm just trying to plant seeds in people's brains to let them even know this thing is available and is a thing.
Yeah, and
Because
that's the
it
answer.
does.
That's the answer to your question. Sadly, is like, how do we get people to use this? Is we got to educate the market. And I always think it's dangerous for people like you and I to try and educate the market, because well, for me, for sure, I don't want to be rude to you, but I'm just a teeny minnow in the
Oh,
sea,
sure.
and it's
Yeah.
hard to be that person that educates the market. I want.
Well, everyone always says, "Oh, you want to be first to market." Well, not really. Most
That's why
people who are
Apple.
first to
That's why
market have gone bankrupt. That's why Facebook was the 12th major
Yeah.
company to get venture capital funding for social media. The numbers 1 through 11 all went out of business. So
Yeah.
there is such a thing as being too early. And I was way too early with online training. I started in 1998 and lost hundreds of thousands of dollars for years. I mean, I didn't make any money on it for 15 years. So as excited as I am about these video clones, I'm really hoping it doesn't take 15 years.
I think it will take someone else coming along, one of the big players, who's really going to invest in this from an AI perspective to get it out to the market. I think that's what will happen. I also think that people are going to get used to using AI coaches in other places like health and fitness and mental health. I think that will take off perhaps quicker. And once that happens, it will then spread to what we're doing. But I'm banging the drum like you are, TJ. I'm banging the drum every day saying this is the future. And if you're not investing in this now, you're going to get left behind. And
well, let's hold that thought 1 minute. Let's test your drum banging capabilities right now. So we're going to go to the part of the show that I like to do with all of our guests. It's your time.